We have breaking news as an MLB insider has dropped an absolute bombshell of a report as it pertains to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and his future in Toronto. We're going to break down that report and discuss what it means going forward because what is in this report is absolutely insane. We're going to break that down as well as discuss a few other Jays updates. Before we get into it, folks, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. If you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, it's the place to be for daily Jays content. Ladies and gentlemen, tons of news to go over today as we have some breaking news. The bombshell report dropped in the middle of the night yesterday, later than 2 in the morning. Hector Gomez came out and dropped this out of absolute nowhere. Source: the Blue Jays are planning to make a new offer to Vladimir Guerrero Jr., which will be close to what he is looking for. According to the source, the Jays offer will be in the range of 14 to 15 years and $550 to $600 million. This is a little bit absurd. And again, this report is dropping in the middle of the night, past 2 in the morning Eastern time. And there's a lot to go over with this report because I want to preface a few different things, and I have some other reports surrounding Vladdy as well. But Hector Gomez, he gets some things right, he gets some things wrong. But when it comes to, usually when it comes, Dominican players, extension like that, he's usually pretty accurate. Now, he was one of the ones who initially was a part of the leaked Vladimir Guerrero Jr. number that they were offering. He was close on that one. He also said that he thought that the Jays and Vladdy were going to come to an agreement. And if you remember back to when the deadline night was, he says he believes the Jays and Vladdy are making progress and that they think a deal is going to get done. Ultimately, a deal didn't get done, but they were making progress. But he's usually fairly accurate with this stuff. However, as per usual, as my saying goes, take it with a grain of salt. But this is wild for a few different reasons, because as you start to kind of look at the breadcrumbs, we're going to dive into all the reports that have come out. It makes a lot of sense. It makes a ton of sense. We are now less than 2 weeks away. We're closer to a week away now than 2 weeks away from opening day on March 27th, a week from this Thursday. That is when the Jays host the Orioles in the Rogers Center. It's going to be electric. All these different things, new renovations to Rogers Center, whatever, all that stuff. That doesn't matter right now. What matters is the Jays making an offer to Vladdy. He's been crushing it in spring training, and there's been a lot of leaking from multiple sides of the camp. We think back to March 12th, and I want to do a little bit of retrospective here. So on March 12th, the Blue Jays and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and some Schneider hit a $50 million gap deadlock, right? And we know the report basically came out. You can see this here. John Heyman and Joel Sherman of the New York Post reported that the Jays tabled a bid of about $500 million with significant deferrals that reduced the offer to about $450 million. After deferrals, $400 to $450. Soon after, Ken Rosenthal reported that Vladdy was seeking $500 million in present value. And you can see the first paragraph, relatively small or insurmountable, just pay the man or let him walk. That's up to the fans to decide now. Industry sources told Sportsnet, the last paragraph, the valuation on the Blue Jays offer was about $450 million, better defining gap with Guerrero's final request cutoff, talk set by the 4-time All-Star first baseman. So you think back to this, that dropped on March 12th. There was a bunch of reports about what the Jays wanted. You see this here now, and this is talking about $550 to $600 million. You have to assume, for all intents and purposes, that this number is going to be deferred money, because right now their offer is $500 million with the deferred money, and according to Hector Gomez, they're going to be offering $550 to $600 million with deferred money, which in theory should close that $50 million gap that has been publicly advertised by multiple different reporters. Again, the Jays offered $450 million after deferrals. Vladdy wanted $500 million. If they're offering $550 to $600 million, that's about $500 million or more after deferrals. And there's a few different things to go over here. If you go through the article, you can see this here, and it goes without saying the risk inherent will be immense. But look at the last paragraph, and this was last week. Maybe the leak was intended to push the two sides towards common ground, and if so, then it came from a good place. The alternative is that it was designed to turn opinions against one or the other is a far darker possibility from the Jays and their fans. See here, maybe the leak was intended to push the two sides towards common ground. Now, this is from Shai Davidi. You fast forward to an article that dropped a day or two after from Keegan Matheson. Information leaks out. This is how it has always worked. Look at the second sentence here. Recent information made public has not come from the Blue Jays front office, a group that has always been tight-lipped and kept a small circle on major contract negotiations, but everyone involved is still left to deal with this ongoing story in their own ways. So it was the Vladimir Guerrero Jr. side, it was his camp that actually leaked all of this information surrounding their offers, surrounding the $50 million gap, all these different things. You pair that with the fact that Shai Davidi said maybe it was a way to get them closer and for, the sides to find common ground. You pair this with a brand new report that is dropping, revealing the Jays are going to up their offer. It all starts to make a little bit of sense. Now, am I saying it gets done before the regular season? I sure hope so. It is a massive distraction. We know Vladdy has been talking to the New York Post, talking to all these different people. And according to Hector Gomez, the Jays are going to step up now and get this deal done. That is what he is essentially saying here. There's no world I would hope that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. would turn down $550 to $600 million. Now, this is going to be a big storyline throughout the day today. I can already feel it. And I'm curious to see what you guys think about it, but I wanted to give you guys kind of the retrospective here because it makes a lot of sense. Now, another thing to keep in mind here, and I don't have the screenshot for it, was my video a couple days ago from Jeff Passan. It may have actually been yesterday, whenever it was, from Jeff Passan, probably a couple days ago. And you're starting to think now of Jeff Passan, his report, which within his season preview, he said that the Jays and Vladdy are far apart, but that Vladdy was looking for well over $500 million. Now, that is after deferrals, we assume. Well over, whether that's, 510, 520, we'll leave that up to you guys to decide. But that's why here you can see Hector Gomez's offer is saying 550 to 600 before deferrals. And then after deferrals, that would equate, well over $500 million, especially if it's getting into the $600 million threshold. Ladies and gentlemen, it is all adding up here. Now, again, Hector could be wrong here. We'll probably start to hear some reports, hopefully, from some of the reputable guys as the day goes on, as the week, I was going to say weeks, but the regular season starts next week. But as the week goes on, the timing makes a ton of sense. The Jays, if they get this done before opening day after this, set deadline, this would be fantastic for the Blue Jays morale. It would be fantastic for this team. And I am praying that the Jays offer, I am fine at this juncture offering about $550 million after deferrals. As Shai Davidi says, it is risky, but I think at this point, your team is actually in a pretty good spot here. And I just want to get rid of the feeling of uncertainty as it pertains to the entire season. Every time he hits the ball, every time he hits a spring training home run, whatever it ends up being, for $50 million, it'll be interesting. Again, he's coming off a 6.2 WAR season. He is a first baseman that hinders him greatly. At the end of the day, if you're not going to be able to continue to produce these numbers, and these numbers I'm talking about is 2021 and of course his 2024 season, if you're in between, a 4 and a 2 ERA, a 3 ERA for, all intents and purposes, it's not worth the money that the Jays are going to give him, according to this report. But at the same time, he sells jerseys. He is going to be one of the reasons that the Jays do this. And you look at their starting rotation, you look at, their pursuit of a guy like Dylan Cease, all these different things. If they can lock up Vladdy, it makes all those a lot better. And we think about yesterday or a couple days ago, you can see here, I feel quicker, I feel stronger, I feel better one-on-one with Vladdy. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is feeling fit and strong. I'm ready to be more vocal. He talked to me about it in English, another sign of his comfort with the situation and his role with the Blue Jays. Get it done. I don't love the way Vladdy, I've been on record saying this in the videos, I don't love the way Vladdy's been talking to the media publicly. He says he doesn't want it to be a distraction. I've been very public in my, I guess, not dismay, but I don't think he should be doing that if he says he's, doesn't want to be a distraction. That being said, he can do whatever he wants. At the end of the day, whatever's best for him, his family, his money, his bottom line, his bank account at the end of the day is what he's going to do to get the most money. And it seems like all of this talking to the media has worked, according to Hector Gomez, because a deal seems to be on the horizon. Not going to say imminent, but on the horizon. Regardless, we're going to keep you up to date with the situation. It's going to be wild. Thank you guys for watching.